I think everything changed at 1 p.m. last Friday afternoon. We are now in Watergate 2.0 with Teapot Dome thrown in as a bonus. Government is going to be totally paralyzed regardless of who wins. If Hillary wins, it'll be very bad. If Trump wins, it'll be worse. And for 6 months or even longer, I think there will be acrimony, there will be brinksmanship, there'll be paralysis, there will be a swarm of House committees doing investigation from all of these WikiLeaks and all of this email business and on and on.
Right.
And therefore, it's important because there will be no baton handed off from the Fed to fiscal policy as we slide into recession. And the reason I believe we're sliding into recession is that I follow the IRS, not the BLS. And the BLS can model all the jobs they want. IRS said that last year, the fiscal year ended in September, revenue was up 1%. And in the last quarter, it was down 4%. And in the 5 months since May, even payroll withholding was barely keeping even with wage inflation. So that means the hours aren't happening out there, even if the BLS thinks they are. And if you have a paralyzed Congress, if you have a Fed out of dry powder, and you have a market that's basically been chopping for 700 days, we're at the same place today as we were in December 2014, then you have to ask, there's massive risk, and what's the possible reward?
So when you say sell everything, let's be clear about this. Every asset class you're saying.
I'm saying
bonds, stocks, gold, real estate.
No, I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying gold. What I'm saying is the markets are hideously inflated. We know there's a bond bubble.
How hideously? I mean, when somebody comes on and says sell everything, that can only mean that they're seeing some horrible impact, some horrible drawdown to come.
Because
so what
I think the
be?
markets are delusional that the business cycle is ended, and as soon as we drift into the next recession, and there's no fire.
Is this a 25% drawdown on markets?
Wait a minute.
David?
Yeah, there could be a 25% drawdown, but let's look where we were last December 14, when the market was right where it is today. Trailing earnings, and I only count GAAP earnings, they're the only honest thing, were 106 per share. Now, I think you noted that they're up a tiny bit in the third quarter, but to $90 per share.
But selling, sorry.
Wait a minute. They're still down 15% from where they were the last time the S&P 500 was at this point. So therefore, the market multiple has gone from 19.5 then, which was pretty sporty, okay, to 23.5% today, during a period when no one thought Donald Trump was even running, when no one was chanting "lock her up" about Hillary, when no one understood, you know, how craven the Fed was. Now, 2 years later, why would you value the market at a you know, all-time high multiple? That's my question.
Difficult to argue with a lot of what you're having to say, but the same question I have to ask to anyone that comes on the show that says sell everything is, what's your time horizon, and who's going to ring the dinner bell when it's time to come back in?
I think the dinner bell is was rung at 1 p.m. last Friday afternoon when the Comey investigation was announced.
That was the time to
and the
run up to your room and go to bed.
market is now, you know, kind of struggling to stay alive. But I think this election is going to be a shocker. It's very likely that you'll end up almost with a stalemate or an electoral college that's 10 or 20 votes apart. Demands for recounts, uncertainty about where it's going.
With 8 Supreme Court justices, by the way.
Well, yeah, and I think that is not even remotely priced in. The idea that this is all
but David,
priced
what
in
about
is
divided
crazy.
government? What about divided? Maybe it's not going to be as bad as we think it is.
It'll be worse.
No matter who's elected, why would you think that's worse? I think right now the investment community actually would prefer nothing versus a lopsided government right now. And I think regardless of what you get, you're going to see them divided in Congress.
Because every time someone comes on your show who talks about the baton being handed off to fiscal policy, we need fiscal stimulus, add that to a recession that's likely to happen in the next year, and you have no ability to do that, I think the market will panic, okay? That's, it's just that simple. Secondly, you have a debt ceiling that's expiring in March. In other words, I like divided government. I'm a libertarian, so I hope they do nothing. Okay, but unfortunately, there's a debt ceiling expiring in March, and if you have a paralyzed, acrimonious government, you're going to have a debt ceiling crisis every month as far as the eye can see. And you know what that'll do.
Last quick question for you, David. In your personal portfolio, are you in cash?
Yes, I'm mostly in cash. I have gold, and I'm getting real short.